think we'll just start off with the predictions, right,
Yeah.
Pratyush?
Yes, we will start with predictions for Imola. This weekend is a standard weekend. 3 practice sessions, quali race, uh, not a sprint weekend. So yeah, we can. Yeah, and we just got done with free practice 1 and 2, and it's largely been a McLaren day, isn't it, Aniket? I mean, sure, we saw red flag from Isaac Hadjar, I think.
Yep.
But apart from that, yeah, it's been McLaren total domination.
So FP1 was still a little close, I feel, between 4-5 drivers, although McLaren did have a 1-2.
Yeah.
But FP2, they kind of totally dominated it, and the way the pattern has been throughout the season, it does seem headed to another race where McLaren will dominate the field.
Yeah.
The only thing that we are still missing right now is a proper head-to-head duel between Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. We just
Yes.
keep saying before every race we get this race, let's get this race, let's get this race, but let's actually hope we get this race since we previewed Imola from 1989 in our last history on the Apex shot, which everyone definitely has to go and check out.
Exactly.
And we hope McLaren with two different drivers this time kick off the championship battle in Imola again.
Yeah, and
And
remember the 1989 Grand Prix had two McLaren drivers fighting at the front.
exactly. And that's where their championship battle kicked off.
Yeah.
So let's hope these two have their championship battle kicking off here.
Yeah.
And if we, directly jump into qualifying, I don't think you can have any two drivers on fighting for pole apart from the McLaren drivers, right?
Which one are you keeping ahead though?
That's always the important. That's the important question now.
Yes.
We're like back to 2014, 15, 16 when it was Rosberg, Hamilton every
Yep.
time.
Yeah.
And I'll give the edge to Oscar because he's topped FP1 and FP2.
Hmm.
Although it's been the finest of margins, but
Yeah, very very close between the two drivers.
he's the McLaren in form. He's been with the winner of the last, 3 races now on the bounce.
Yep.
And I'll give it to Oscar just because the recent form is good.
Okay.
And Lando as second. And my P3, I will have Max Verstappen.
Oh, that's an interesting choice. I mean, yes, he was P5 in FP2, and wow,
I
where
think
was he in
he might
FP1?
have a
Oh,
little more
P7.
energy considering he's a father now.
Or is he more tired because he's a new father? I mean, yeah,
I
the
think
baby. The baby's probably keeping up all night, not letting him
yeah,
race.
he would want to do well, for probably the first race with a newborn baby. So maybe the incentive to do well.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we know Max has a lot of he carries a lot of things with him in terms of motivation, and probably this could be another one.
I mean, technically, I think the last race was his first as.
Uh,
But yeah, I get your point. I mean, but yeah, I mean, he was, I think, complaining in the media interviews about Red Bull's car still being a bit far off from McLaren. Yeah, I mean, I agree that McLaren is way too dominant. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, to your point about FP1 being close, yeah, I just wanted to fill in the viewers that free practice one, the top 5 drivers were covered by less than a tenth.
yeah.
And P6, that was Pierre Gasly, was just a tenth and a half behind. So, yeah, very, very close. And yeah, what is this? 5 different teams in the top 6. So, we hope it's going to be a close qualifying, isn't it? But
I think
yeah,
FP1 was more about getting the tires in and
right.
you know setting up your car and stuff, and that's the reason why we saw so
Hmm.
many teams close. But when FP2 came around, and McLaren had obviously the pace, they
Yeah.
showed that
And
and
again, we
jumped
did
ahead of
see
everyone.
even in both FP1 and FP2, the two McLaren boys were very, very close to each other.
Yeah,
300s in the first session, 200s in the second session. Um, yeah,
super close out there.
yeah, very, very close. And yeah, I think I will go with I'll go with Lando for pole. I think
He's
Lando.
due a pole, right? It's been a while.
Yeah, he's due a pole. I think Lando has a point to prove to show that he's the number one boy. So I think Lando will. I think Lando has it this weekend. I'm gunning for Lando Because I've been
Okay.
gunning for Oscar a lot these past few weekends, but I
Yeah.
think this it's Lando's turn. Come on, Lando.
So Oscar's P2 and who's P3 for you?
Um, I honestly don't know. I'm going to go the wild take, Lewis Hamilton.
Okay.
Because
I mean, I'm all prepared for a Ferrari P7, P8,
I mean, he was P5 in FP1 and
yeah.
less than a tenth behind
And
Oscar.
he was complaining, and both of them were complaining all session about brakes. I mean, in both
Yeah,
the
yeah.
session, especially Lewis.
But as I say that, he was P11 in FP2.
Yeah.
Six and a half, 6.5 tenths behind Oscar. Uh,
You still want to keep that prediction?
uh, yeah, I think realistically, I'm going to go with George, honestly.
Okay. Safe option.
Yeah. He's in P4 in both the sessions, but the P3 has been different. I think, George,
Yeah.
the P3 doesn't show up, he's going to be there.
Yeah.
And the Mercedes is looking good as well. So, yeah,
Mercedes this season has been very good.
all the Lewis Hamilton experiments paid off. Eh?
Yeah, finally did. And what's your like hot take from Collie?
Hot take from Quali. My hot take from Quali is that Fernando Alonso goes to Q3.
Okay. We've not seen him in Q3, I think, this entire season.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. My hot take is Pierre Gasly finishes in the top five in quali.
Oh, yeah,
That could
that
happen.
that could happen. He was P6 and P3 today. So, yeah,
Yes.
that's a very good shout.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Let's talk about the race. Who do you think is winning? I know you predicted Oscar pole. So, do you think
So
Oscar is winning from pole?
I'm hoping we get a repeat of McLaren from 1989 and
Well,
Senna was on P2.
there's no gentleman's agreement this time.
I know, but Senna was on P2 and he won the race. So
Yeah.
maybe I'm going with Lando from P2 winning the race.
Okay.
So I want to see a duel. I want to see it come to life
Yeah.
after so much of talk on our podcast and many other shows.
Right.
And let's hope we get some kind of action. Let's hope Lando doesn't mess it up for once, hope in qualifying or in the race.
Yeah.
And I'm going for Lando P1, Oscar P2, and
Okay.
George P3.
Interesting. Oh, yeah, George. Yeah, that's George will be there.
I think there'll be a safety car and George. We have this famous meme. Does nothing, gets P3.
Man, I'm telling you, at some point this season, if the McLaren rivalry heats up, George Russell will do nothing and win a race.
Exactly. He already did that, right?
I,
Not he didn't win a race, but he finished P2 in quali in Belgium 2021, and then
oh
the
yeah, that
race
is in the
got
Williams.
started and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
got P2.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. Williams talks about, they kind of bet on the fact that the race will not happen because it was raining so heavily. And
Yeah.
they tuned the car completely very, very aggressively for qualifying. And that had good straight line speed. Remember the Williams? It
He
had
did, he
amazing
did.
straight line
Another
speed.
reason he had P2.
Yeah, so Spa is obviously a very fast track. He got P2 and then the race got cancelled. And he got half points as well. That's the story of George Russell.
And that's how he became lucky from that day.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I think I'm going to go with Lando winning from pole. I think I know it's a meme to hate on Lando starts, and certainly has not been the best at starting from pole. But I think we saw towards the end of last season I think he did win one or two races from pole. He seemed to have
Yeah.
beaten those P1 demons. So I think Lando will from pole. Again, the two McLarens are very, very close, especially this weekend. I mean, there's barely anything separating those
Yeah.
two cars. So what I hope is, yeah, like you said, I hope we get some great racing action at the front, and I hope McLaren doesn't screw up the strategy for these two drivers, because McLaren tends to do that, right?
Yeah.
They'll mess up one driver or both
They tend to
drivers.
do that when they're under pressure.
Yeah, yeah. Did we see this? I think earlier this season as well.
We just saw it as recent as what, Japan or something? Japan, yeah, Japan.
Yeah,
Japan,
exactly.
when they had two versus one and they messed up, they pitted like both at almost at the same
Yeah,
time.
and Max
So,
Max kind of took advantage and
yeah,
won the race, right? So yeah, I hope McLaren is a little more daring with the strategy. They're more
if
like
required.
exactly, yeah. They're more like say, the 2023 Red Bull or the late 2010s Mercedes, and not like Ferrari of any year. Um, yeah. So who's your P3? George? Oh, wait, okay. Is your
George,
P1
George.
P2 McLaren?
Yeah, P1, P2 is McLaren.
So and your P3 is George?
I believe that even if Lando messes up quali and starts like P5, P6, he'll just zoom past everyone and
Yeah, that
finish
car is
P3.
way too fast. Yeah.
Too fast, yeah.
Yeah.
So George is P3 because of how well he's been doing, and he does nothing and gets P3 anyway. But and also one cool story from this first first day of the F1 race week was Kimi Antonelli getting all of his schoolmates to come
Yep.
and watch him, I don't know, train or basically just in the garage or something like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that
I
was
think they're
very
going to
cool.
attend the whole weekend.
Imagine having a friend like that.
Yeah, man.
I know, VIP passes and whatnot.
One day he asks you your homework, the next day he takes you to an F1
Yeah,
race.
I mean the race. I mean he's got a triple header. I don't know how he's gonna manage school though.
Yeah, I think they'll.
It's
I
like that
think he'll get
the
the most
Rajasthan
leniency.
Royals batsman Abhishek,
Oh
not
yeah,
Abhishek. What's his name? I forgot his name.
Weber.
Vaibhav Suryavanshi. 14 years
14
old. Like
years old, man. That's insane.
that is even more insane. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think you should talk about your P3.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Max.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we all know in race settings Max does tend to get the best out of the car. I think it'll be close between him and George. I think for
Yeah.
P3, because they were also very close in FP2. So I
FP2.
think
And this could be a precursor to who's gonna compete for P3 in the championship. I feel between
yeah,
Max and Josh. It does seem like that.
yeah. So I think Max P3 with but heavy competition from George. So I guess it'll be a toss up.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Who's your bust of the race?
Mm, I think Franco Colapinto. I know it's his first race weekend, but I think I think Jack Doohan was kind of unfairly treated when you think about it. So I feel unfortunately Franco he is out in probably Q3 and sorry Q1,
Yeah.
and he probably finishes like 15th or something.
You know what? You may have a point there. If you look at FP1 and FP2,
Yeah, I
in
mean, see, we have to give him some benefit of the doubt because it's his first race.
first race, new car and all that, but I
Yeah,
think
but
you might be onto something. I mean,
yeah,
even keeping all those in mind, because FP1 Colapinto was half a second behind Gasly,
yeah.
and FP2 he was, wow, where is he? Yeah, another half a second behind Gasly. So he's been half a second off the pace.
Hmm. And half a second is about like 8 places or something.
Yeah. Oh, more than that today. I think, yeah, I mean, 10 places in FP2 and 11
Hmm.
places in FP1. So,
Hmm.
yeah, we might even see him crash. Who knows? New car.
Yeah.
If he's
Yeah.
like, if he like qualifies P15, P16, it's fully crowded. He makes one wrong turn into Tosa, takes out three cars, man.
But let's hope he has a good race. We don't want
Yeah.
him to. We love his excitement. We love the excitement he gets into F1.
Yeah,
So
he's definitely a fast driver,
yeah,
but yeah. I think my bust of the race, and I don't know, I'm not going with Franco, but this is probably too easy, but I'm going to go with Liam Lawson.
our what do you say? Our regular bust
Regular
nowadays.
bust, yeah.
Regular bust.
Yeah.
It's
uh
like a segment where Liam Lawson is regularly featured for the wrong reasons.
yep. Actually, Haas might also
Does
be a
Liam
good
Lawson
candidate
have a
for bust.
career
They're
in
doing
F1 after
terribly.
the season?
Sorry.
Does Liam Lawson have a career in F1 after the season?
Yeah, he has
He's
to improve,
performing the way
man.
he is.
Like, I mean, to be fair, I think he got a very unfair deal. I
Yeah.
mean, he raced what, a few races last season and the season before, and then he gets thrust into Red Bull Racing in that difficult car next to Max Verstappen. One of the three, four greatest drivers of all time, with the car so heavily customized to him.
Hmm.
And then he gets two races, doesn't even get a chance to adjust, gets kicked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only reason he has a drive is because Red Bull has a B team. Otherwise, he'll be gone from F1 by now.
Exactly.
So yeah, we'll see. But I think Liam, I think he'll probably needs a few more races. I mean, the kid's mental state is probably also shot completely.
Mm-hmm.
Right, demoted
Yeah.
in two races.
I mean, he's got three races on the bounce now, so we'll see how he does. Three
Yeah,
different kinds of tracks also.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he kind of comes back because that Racing Bulls is a good car. I mean, you see Isaac Hadger, he was in the he was seventh, and I think
He crashed in FP2.
FP1 he crashed. But yeah, if he's in the
FP2 he
top
crashed.
10 and your teammate is not even in, he's like 15th, then yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
car issue.
Yeah.
But I think Haas is also going to be another bust of this race. They did terribly in both the free practice
Mm-hmm.
sessions. So I think Haas is probably going to have a bad weekend as well.
Yeah.
Um,
And let's keep our eyes on Alpine versus Williams because that could be an interesting
yes,
battle. Now that
yeah. I
Alpine
mean
has suddenly become
Alpine.
good.
Alpine to be fair shout. They done really well, didn't they? They're doing
I'm only
very.
surprised if Pierre Gasly qualifies ahead of the one of the Ferraris tomorrow. It could happen.
Yeah, that's not even a hot take anymore.
That would be embarrassing for Ferrari on their home circuit. I mean, not home, but technically home
I
also.
mean, it is their home. Maranello is like half an
Yeah,
hour from Imola. The track is named after the
embarrassing,
founder.
man. The way the performances they're having,
Yeah.
it
And
will
the
be
track is
shocking.
named after the founder. It's the Enzo Ferrari
Yeah,
circuit.
exactly. I mean, you would probably call Monza more of their home than Imola, but yeah, I understand why Imola is more of their home
I
with that
think
track
Monza is
being named.
called their home because that is the Italian Grand Prix, and this has been
Yes.
the San Marino Grand Prix, and whatever nonsense name we have now. But yeah, I mean, it's bang in near Maranello. So
Yeah. Let's see what they have for tomorrow. But
okay,
not much hopes on Ferrari tomorrow.
let me ask you this: if you rank the teams by pace this weekend, where do you think Ferrari will be?
I mean, at this moment, they're like fifth fastest, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
For McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull. I mean, I don't know. Verstappen you can count because the other Red Bull is not doing well. So Verstappen,
I mean,
then
they were fifth fastest in FP2 behind McLaren, Alpine, Mercedes, and Red Bull.
Yuki was still outside the top 10, right?
No, Yuki was eighth. I mean, Charles was
Okay.
sixth, but Max was fifth.
Yeah.
So
And they're behind Alpine also suddenly. Gasly
yeah,
also doing well. And
exactly.
Williams, Carlos is also doing
And
well.
then Lewis was behind Williams and Racing Bulls as a bonus.
Yes. So I don't know. They might be somewhere between fifth to seventh, I guess, this weekend. At least in qualifying. In the race, they might still end up finishing their usual P7, P8.
It's like early last year Mercedes, right? P5, P6, P6, P7. Let
It's
me
like
let me
Lewis
ask
is
you this: are both the Ferraris making it to Q3?
no.
Wow.
I think one drops out, and I feel it's Lewis for some reason. I think Lewis finished 11th or something.
I think to be fair, it can be either Ferrari because FP1, Lewis did well, Charles did horrible, and it was
Hmm.
switched up in FP2. So I think at this point it can be anyone.
Yeah, it's
But
sad.
also, I think Leclerc was having he was sick a bit in the morning. Yeah, they were
Yeah,
saying.
he had some helmet issues and all also, I guess.
Yeah, he was holding his helmet. Like,
Yeah, he
what is
was
happening at
holding it.
Ferrari, man?
Yeah. Can't get a helmet, man. Can't get a
Like,
helmet put on.
Are we going to see next race Lewis holding the tire when driving?
Yeah, insane.
Or the steering just pops out when trying to take a turn?
Fred Vasseur is not the messiah who I thought he was.